Welcome to all Caribbean entrepreneurs. If you've been ready and waiting to take your business digital and get paid online while you sip something strong on the beach, this podcast is for you. We'll hear from the Caribbean's finest entrepreneurs on topics like e-commerce, business development, brand building, social media, their wins and failures. This is the only place in the region helping you navigate the digital age from the Caribbean's perspective. This is Digipreneur FM. And now, let's give it up for the Digiboss himself, Mr. Karan Rose.
Thank you to everybody tuning in to another episode of the Digipreneur FM podcast. And as usual, it is your boy, Mr. Rose. DJ, you know what to do. Can you fade us all the way out so we can talk to the people? How are you lovely ladies and gentlemen doing on this Tuesday morning? It is June 11th, 2024. And this is episode number 162. 162. It is an extremely rainy day here on the island of Trinidad and Tobago. It's been raining all night. It's been great, you know. Sometimes it's nice to just, lay in bed and listen to the rain fall and, have one of those days where you don't have to leave the house and you could just listen to the rain, eat some good food, watch some Netflix, and just relax. I did that yesterday. I had some meetings, but you know what? I am hoping that today I get to not be disturbed. I might just turn my phone off, and it's supposed to be raining all day today. I think I might just order some food, listen to the rain, watch some Netflix, and just not be bothered. That's my vibe today. That is my vibe today. I'm in that mode right now where I just need some time without the hoopla and craziness. And I feel like, man, unless you're on vacation and and you could turn off your phone, and I feel like it gets so hard to just, not be bothered and kind of just, not think about nothing. Like you really do have to intentionally set those days aside where you just turn off the phone and, you just not be bothered by the world. And I've been feeling like that these past couple of days. And that'll probably be an episode by itself. I know I've been saying that there's some topics that I definitely have to address and turn into episodes, and don't worry, I'm gonna get to it. But yeah, I feel like since I came back from Colombia, there's just been a lot on my mind. There's been a lot on my mind. And, we're in the second half of the year. And I think I'm in that period where, I'm kind of just looking at, what are we doing? What does the next journey look like? And I think that's the big question that I've kind of been having. I'm at that point in my life where I've officially made 10 years in Trinidad, and while it was good, I feel like my entire body, my spirit, my mindset feels like I'm at the end of that journey, and I'm feeling like, what is that next leg of the journey look like? Yeah, I think that's what's it. I think that's where my mind is, and I think that's why I've been feeling like I don't want to be bothered right now. Like, I don't want to think about nothing. I kind of just want to be in a zone and, unwind and figure out, what does that next leg of the journey look like? But again, I will address that. But anyways, what are we talking about today? in episode number 162. Today, we're going to be talking about how do we build trust with our audience in this digital age. Now, this topic came up because over the past couple of months, I've seen a lot of businesses get online, make videos, and talk about issues they are having with customers when it comes to cash on delivery. So business owners are coming out and they're talking about, hey, um, this is why we don't do cash on delivery. They made products, or they organize with people to meet up to deliver products or whatever. Some people are making custom products and not taking, at least a down payment, which is wild to me, right? But they have made products. They are, or maybe they're a reseller of products, and they've organized with people to go and meet, to go deliver the products, and then people just don't show up. I've seen a lot of businesses, and I've actually spoken with a lot of courier companies saying the same thing, where a customer makes an order, and again, they're not paying up front, so the products themselves are going out, and the inventory is now tied up because it's with the courier, and the couriers are taking days to deliver the products, because people are ordering products with no intention of actually paying for the products, which to me is wild as well, right? To me, that is wild as well. I don't understand why you are ordering products from businesses, and then when delivery is happening, the courier companies are chasing you to deliver the goods. But again, a lot of people have no intention of ordering the products, or maybe their priorities changed when or after they made the order, or maybe they found it somewhere else and they just, they don't have the decency to tell the people, hey, I no longer need it. Either which way, time and money is being wasted, and businesses are coming out of pocket because you have to still pay the courier companies, right? When you are sending your products out, they're doing their job, right? And then again, they're wasting their time running all over the place trying to find your customers. And then if you are somebody who has made a custom product and you have not taken a payment for it up front, you're out of pocket, right? So abroad, you don't really see cash on delivery for most businesses. Sure, food delivery, like you could pay for your pizza, pay for your KFC when things like that are when you're ordering food and whatnot. But for the majority of businesses, you pay up front, right? You order your products online, and you've paid for the product, whatever, and then it just shows up and whatnot, right? But I don't want to talk about the cash on delivery side. One of the things that have come up as I've made some articles targeting those business owners that are feeling the pressure of cash on delivery. I've done a couple of articles that outline what they can do to take out cash on delivery and all of the different tools to accept digital payments or still accept cash, but how to accept cash up front, all right, without having to do cash on delivery. So at least you're getting paid, even if it's a down payment, right? And you're getting paid, afterwards. But listen, that's a whole different topic. I prefer, and I personally believe that businesses shouldn't even be doing cash on delivery. I believe businesses should be getting paid up front. However, this is what I want to get into for today's topic. In that conversation, I'm seeing a lot of people on both sides, customers coming out and saying, hey, we don't trust businesses locally in Trinidad to deliver the product, so we only want to pay cash on delivery. And then business owners have come out and said, no, we have to offer cash on delivery, because if we did not, half of our clientele would be gone. Right? And the theme, the theme that has popped up out of that conversation is trust. The customers don't trust the businesses to deliver, And business owners don't trust themselves that they have built up the credibility. They don't trust themselves to have built up, or they don't trust themselves to build the type of credibility where consumers would buy from them up front. And which is crazy, right? And I'm seeing the comments, and to me, that was the most surprising thing, because we don't meet the people on Amazon. Remember, Amazon is just a platform. It's individual sellers on the platform, right? We don't meet the people on Amazon. We don't meet the people on eBay. We don't meet the people on Walmart. We don't meet the people on Wish, Temu. We order from Chinese sites. Imagine people are ordering from Chinese sites, right? No name or no brand, no popular branded Chinese sites. We're not even talking about Alibaba and AliExpress. There are people that are ordering from Chinese sites, don't know these people or whatever, and we don't care to know who these people are, but we trust to give them our money, and we trust that we're going to get it back. And I think that's where the conversation, that's where the conversation I want to have today, right? How does a business build the trust so that when you say, hey, this is how I want you guys to do business with me, right? We have all of these payment mechanisms, from digital channels to we accept cash, but just not cash on delivery. Here is how we take cash payments. When you start to tell people this is how you're going to do business with me, how do we build the trust so that the customers feel comfortable with doing business with you, even if it's their first time doing business with you? Because that's the next thing, right? And that's the next part that was kind of curious to me, is that people coming out and saying, well, we don't trust these businesses the first time around to pay them up front. And again, I say, yeah, but we will jump on Temu and Wish, platforms that are notorious for sending you the wrong things. You'll jump on Shein, first-time customers. You'll jump on you'll jump on any international platform as a first-time customer, and you're not even thinking about whether or not, am I going to get this item? But locally, when it comes to local e-commerce, that is always a topic at hand. We don't trust these businesses to deliver. And then you have people coming in the comments and saying there's too many scammers. There's too many tricky daddians that are out here that we fear, and we know they're not going to pay. We know they're not going to deliver after we give us our money, right? Now, it's a good topic to dive into because, as I said, I've only been here for 10 years, right? And when I started my business, I had to do my homework on what are all of the ways that the customers in Trinidad and Tobago, how do they establish trust in this country with businesses? And I had to learn all those ways and then execute. That way I could have started to build the trust with the consumers. Because guess what? Since I started my business, Droid Island, in 2016, right, I have not received a cash payment since 2017. Now, I accepted cash when I had the store, right, obviously. But when it came to cash, when it came to people ordering their products, I never took cash on delivery. I never offered cash on delivery. I implemented all of the infrastructure to accept both digital payments and cash payments, and I coached and taught everybody how to conduct business with me. So you want to pay cash, no problem. You might not have a bank account, no problem. Here's how I take cash. And I was taking cash via Paywise, all right? And people would go make the payments through Paywise. Paywise remit the money within 24 to 48 hours to my bank account, and the products were sent. And now we have all of the courier companies that have rolled out in TNT. They all have kind of upgraded their systems, and they allow for tracking of the packages to happen so people can see in real time where their order is, right? But again, I had to research, how do I build trust with the customers? That way, when I tell people I don't do cash on delivery, it wasn't met with, oh, hell no, this is a scammer. It was, okay, no problem. And when they started to look at my business, they're like, okay, this business looks like I could trust them to deliver, right? So that's the topic for today. How do we build trust with our audience? And I want to give you 10 ways that you can start to build trust with your audience. And again, this is all going to help you moving forward because your business is going to evolve and you're going to ask your customers to do things that they probably have never done before. And you don't want it to be met with hesitation or feeling like this person is a hustler or they're going to scam me or they're not going to deliver. You need to start learning how to build that trust. That way, when you say things like, I don't take cash on delivery, we take payments up front, people trust your brand. They know your brand is going to deliver and they pay you how you have dictated you accept payments, whether it be digitally or whether it be cash through the cash payment systems that we have in place. So the first reason I'm going to give you is transparent communication. So maintaining transparent communication is going to be crucial for building that trust. Businesses should openly share information about, think about this for a second, right? Businesses should be sharing information about their operations, their policies, and any changes. And the transparency is going to extend to being honest about any challenges or mistakes that you might be having along the way in fulfilling the order. And being transparent reassures customers that businesses value their integrity and openness and fostering a trusting relationship, right? But think about that for a second. How many businesses in Trinidad are open about their operations, their policies, or any challenges they're facing when fulfilling your order? That has been a common problem that we see online everywhere. Heck, even things like exchanges and refunds, businesses aren't upfront about that. The majority of businesses are not upfront about that. So when we're talking about building trust, it starts with just the communication aspect. Do you have a refund policy? What is the exchange policy? Do we have information about your operations? There are so many businesses that don't even post up their opening and closing hours. Right? There are a lot of businesses that don't. How many times do we see a business is supposed to be open at 9 o'clock in the morning? You show up at 9:30 and the business is closed. And then you're like, yo, what the hell's going on? You call them, they don't answer. Think about that for a second too. How many times do we have a question for a business and we call them and nobody answers the phone? You email them, nobody responds. So again, communication, there's too many businesses in TNT that fail on basic communication. And if we can't communicate with you, how do you expect trust to be formed? It's not going to happen, all right? Businesses hide too much of their information. They're not upfront. You can't even get the opportunity to communicate with them because they're unresponsive online. They don't answer their phones. So if that's the starting point, we're already not going to trust your business. Point number 2, content creation. Quality content creation. We're talking about building trust in a digital age. Now, if your business can start providing high quality, valuable content that solves problems for your audience, this is one of the number one ways that businesses can build trust in a digital age. Content needs to educate, entertain, and solves your audience's problems. And this is what's going to help establish your business as an expert in your space or a leading authority in your space. And you want to be able to do this through blog posts, videos, podcasts, social media content. Consistently creating quality content shows commitment and reliability, making your audience more likely to trust your brand and offerings. When you can see a brand consistently popping up, showing you that, hey, we are legitimate, we are here, we have invested in our craft, we've invested in our industry, we know what we're talking about, and we're here to solve problems for you. And they start to build that community because they're creating that content that solves the problems in their space. Trust is built. Too many of the business owners that are complaining about, we can't do cash on delivery because people don't trust us. And when customers talk about they don't trust these businesses to deliver, when you go and look at the businesses that they're shopping at, you can tell out the gate, this business looks like a fly-by-night business. And this is the thing, right? I'm a customer as well. I've never been scammed in my life. I have never been scammed in my entire life, ever. And that's because businesses that look like a fly-by-night operation, you can tell they are a fly-by-night operation. You can tell, right? And maybe that's a whole other episode. Maybe that's an episode that we got to do. How do you tell? What are the signs that a business looks shady? Because we have an affinity in the Caribbean where we get scammed by some of the most basic things. And maybe that's my privilege of growing up in Canada, where the scams are so high level that you have to come really good to scam anybody. But Caribbean-wide, the scams the scams in the Caribbean are preschool scams. And when I see people saying they got scammed by a lot of the businesses they're saying they got scammed by, I'm like, but they look like a scam business. They operate like a scam business. They sound like a scam business. How did you get scammed? The writing it's right there. Look at them. They look scammy. But again, we are in a society where I'm not going to go down that road. I was going to say we are in a society where, we love a good get rich quick scheme, and it's easy to take people's money, as a lot of these scammers have shown. All right, but again, I won't even go down that road. So quality content creation can help build that trust. Point number 3, consistent branding. Folks, businesses that are invested in building their brand don't scam you, or are very less likely to scam you. They're less likely to scam you. So consistent branding across all of a business's platforms reinforces recognition and reliability. This includes things like, the same logos, the color schemes, how they communicate with their audience. When your branding is consistent, it becomes familiar and trustworthy to your audience, which can be reassuring, especially in the digital landscape where inconsistencies raise doubts. And this is why, we have a lot of branding coaches in the Caribbean, and I never see people talk about how consistent, familiar branding is one of the key components of building trust. We talk about marketing and being recognizable, but listen, all of that at the end of the day is to build trust with your customers. And again, I say, the reason why I've never been scammed, and I say that a lot of these businesses look scammy, I don't know how y'all are looking at these businesses. They look like a fly-by-night operation, or the branding is messy, or worse yet, you look at people's graphics and it looks like it was done in the 70s. If they do have a website, their website looks like a spam website. Like, there's so many signs from a branding perspective that the business looks like a scam. And a real business that is investing in their brand and their looks, their assets, the consistency of all those assets across all those channels, they're very less likely to scam you. Now, again, we're in the Caribbean. A lot of scammers outside of the region understand that. But in the Caribbean, we're not there yet. So the scammers are not building no brand, and they're definitely they're not consistent across anything. They just scam you with a Facebook page. All right? So it's very easy to tell the businesses that have the potential to scam you here because the branding is off, it's not consistent, and they're not investing in trying to build or craft an image. They're not investing in that. They're just coming up with a Facebook page and trying to scam you. All right. Point number 4, we're talking how to build trust with your audience in the digital age. Point number 4 is a website, folks. That is, again, another reason why I'm so confused about why people get scammed in Trinidad. Not just Trinidad, but the Caribbean. Because you see how social media has the blue check, and the blue check was brought about to show that this is the actual brand. And if you're seeing another brand trying to imitate them and they don't have the blue check, that's a scam. But the blue check is a certified that this is the actual brand. Well, folks, for a very long time, for God, like almost 20 years, the thought process in North America has always been, if a business does not have a website, it's an automatic scam. Because scammers typically were never building websites. All right? Again, that has changed in North America and in the UK, but this is the Caribbean where we are 20 years behind. The scammers are not building websites. Okay? They're absolutely not building websites. So, we're talking about how to establish trust. Your business having a professionally done and professionally looking user-friendly website is vital for establishing trust. A website, easy to use, works, is optimized for both for computers, for tablets, for mobile devices. Communicates your products, your services, your offerings, contact information, all of that good stuff. Gives you credibility. Again, first world countries, 20 plus years, we always said that if a business does not have a website, chances are it's a scam. That is very different, now, because it's easy to build websites, so the scammers are building up their websites. But in the Caribbean, in the Caribbean, the scammers are not building websites. They're not investing in branding. They're not building websites. They still aren't doing any of those things to try to scam you. So, if your business wants to establish trust, invest in your branding, invest in a website, that moves the needle in establishing trust with your audience. Right? And again, your goal is that when you establish this trust, you should be able to come and say, hey, we don't offer things like cash on delivery, but we're going to get the products to you. You have to pay up front. That was my alarm clock. Right? Your business has to build that brand equity and establish that trust in order for these things to work. Right? So building that website is my 4th reason as to how you're going to go about building trust. Number 5, we're talking building trust with our audience, right? Number 5 is customer reviews and testimonials. So displaying your customer reviews and testimonials can obviously significantly enhance trust. Your feedback from real customers provides social proof, persuading new visitors that your products and services are reliable. Encourage your customers to leave their testimonials and share their experiences. Now, one thing I will tell you as a tip, whilst it's great to leave reviews on Facebook and whatnot, if you get your audience to leave their reviews on your Google business profile, Google rewards you, right? So when the ratings and your testimonials go up, Google uses that as a signal to help you rank in search. So you can, help yourself outrank competitors by pushing more people to leave reviews on your Google business profile, because that is a signal to help you start to outrank your competitors in search. So Facebook reviews are nice because Facebook's the biggest social media platform. But again, if you get your customers dropping reviews on Google Business, that is going to help you start to outrank search. So one, you're still going to get the proof, right? But then you're also going to start to outrank your competitors and showing up top of search when people are conducting their searches for things happening within your industry. Okay? The sixth point is engaging on social media. Folks, the scammers post and ghost, or they implement an AI tool that automatically responds to comments, but they're so generic you could always tell. All right? Engaging on social media actively demonstrates that you are approachable, you are responsive. Respond to comments, messages, and reviews promptly, constructively, even if they are critical. This interaction not only resolves the issues, but shows potential customers that you care about your community. So just like when you're getting a review, even if the review is a negative one, when you can show that you are addressing and how you are addressing people's problems on those reviews, and you're addressing people's comments, when people see you actively engaging on social media in the comments for both the good stuff and the negative stuff, that is an amazing way to establish trust. If somebody has a negative experience with your brand, you stand more to gain by helping these people and responding to those feedback and showing your next potential customers that, hey, we know that we're not going to get it right all the time, but at least we are here trying to solve the problem so we can both get on the same page. People are looking at these things when they're trying to make a decision as to whether or not to do business with you. But again, how many businesses don't respond to messages? How many businesses do not respond to comments? They post and ghost, and then when negative comments come up, they just delete. And then half the time people leave a negative experience, if it gets deleted, a lot of the times they send a screenshot, or they come back and they say, oh, they share the post, and then they'll tell people, oh, had this negative experience, and apparently this business is going around deleting all the negative comments. People do all of these things. So it's best to nip it in the bud and show people that, hey, again, we're not going to get it right all the time, but at least we are going to address your concerns, and we're going to do it publicly so that people are going to see these things and say, oh, okay, this business actually does respond and they do try to solve problems. Again, that moves the needle when it comes to trusting your business. Number 7, behind the scenes content. Sharing the behind the scenes content humanizes your brand and creates a more personal connection with your audience. So whether you are showcasing your production process, your office life, how you source materials, whatever it is that you do in your business, when you can give your audience a peek behind the curtain for what makes your business work, that shows that your business is more relatable and ultimately builds more trust with your audience. Give people behind the scenes look, because at the end of the day, scammers are people who are unscrupulous, that are out here trying to scam you. They don't want to show you the behind the scenes. They're not going to show you the behind the scenes, right? Because that needs to be kept a secret. But if you are hell-bent on building trust with your audience, then being able to pull the curtains and show people the behind the scenes as to how you operate, that goes a long way in building trust and moving the needle with your audience. Number 8, security measures. Now, this is a very big one, especially if you are selling products and services online. Does your business have the right security measures on your digital platforms to reassure customers that their data is safe. And one of the big ones is SSL certificates, right? So when you go on somebody's website and they don't have an SSL certificate and you see the X on the side by your URL bar and it says not secure, or if you try to log onto somebody's website from a Wi-Fi connection that has a firewall like a Starbucks and it says halt, stop right there. This website is not a secure website, and it's a whole full screen page telling you that this platform is not secure. That diminishes trust. Matter of fact, if you have intentions of buying something online from that business and you get stopped because that person's business does not have an SSL certificate, that is an immediate abandon of that sale. That's an immediate abandonment of that sale. People are not buying from you if your platform is not secure. All right? So, and you'd be surprised. There's a lot of businesses that don't have no SSL certificate. So again, when you are somewhere where there's a firewall and it says, hey, you cannot access this page because it's not secure, that damages trust. That's going to set you back. So you want to ensure that your website and your platforms are a secure platform. Again, goes a long way when it goes to building trust. People, when it comes to the digital platforms, they want to feel safe that they can come on your platform and give you their credit card information and their data is not going to be exposed. You're not operating on a shoddy website that has the potential to be hacked because you don't have basic things like the SSL certificate, right? You could even have a privacy policy. The banners that pop up about the cookies, all of those things just kind of go. They help you build trust and let people know that your data is secure. Letting people know how you use their data if you do have to collect their data. That's always a good way, a good step in the direction of building trust. All right. Point number 8, and this is a big one: media features and publicity. It's a big one because we have a lot of people that come out and say, oh, you don't need media, you don't need traditional media, and blah, 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 blah. Man, you do, right? Media features and publicity. Being featured in reputable media outlets significantly boosts your credibility. Media features act as third-party endorsements, suggesting that the established platforms find your offerings newsworthy or valuable. Share these features prominently on your website and social media to enhance your reputation, which is why the as seen on sections of your website are so critical, because they move the needle on building trust. You come to someone's website, you see that they've been featured on CNN, the New York Times, BBC, some of the biggest platforms in the world. That is all there done and displayed to show you that, hey, we are a trustworthy business. And right or wrong, whether you do or don't, people trust media outlets. Again, I'm not going to dispute right or wrong, whether you do or you don't. Doesn't matter to me. The reality is people trust media outlets. They might not trust a specific one, but the overall idea of media, when you get featured on a CNN, a BBC, locally, if you're getting featured in the Newsday or CNC3 on TV or TVJ in Jamaica, when you get featured on these platforms, because people respect these platforms and they have a level of authority, you borrow the authority when you are getting featured on media platforms. Those endorsements help, right? And again, it moves the needle on building trust. It also shows to potential customers that this is not a fly-by-night operation, right? Now, their media does slip up from time to time where they have known to feature some scammers. That does definitely happen. But generally, overall, and again, we're not just talking about locally, overall, learning how to get featured in media on established platforms that people trust, right? So even if your audience, doesn't like the local media, as a business owner, your goal is to figure out, how do I build trust with the audience? So I'm always looking at opportunities. How can I go and get featured on Forbes? How could I get featured on CNN? How do I get featured in Vogue? How do I get featured in Essence? Like, I'm always looking at these things because ultimately I know they move the needle when it comes to people trusting my brand. And that is what a business needs to be thinking about. Where can we get our brand featured? What are the reputable platforms that we can get our brand featured? Because that is going to help move the needle in establishing trust with our audience. So again, you might not trust a specific media outlet, but there are media outlets that you trust and respect. And it's a business owner's job to figure out, what are the platforms and channels and outlets that our audience respects, and how do we build our brand enough to get featured on these platforms? How do we get on these platforms so that way we can establish trust and show people that we are here for the greater good? We're here for the long run. This is not a fly-by-night operation. All right? So that's how media features really impact your brand and your business when it comes to building trust. Which brings me to point number 10, community involvement or corporate social responsibility. Actively participating in community events, engaging in corporate social responsibility initiatives shows that your business is committed to more than just profit. Supporting local causes, participating in charity events, or implementing sustainable practices can make your business more trustworthy to consumers who value social responsibility. But even the ones that don't necessarily value social responsibility, even your business just getting out in the community, whether it's doing workshops, doing talks, doing charity work, things like that, it shows that, again, you are not a scammer. It helps to build trust in your customers' minds that your business is not a fly-by-night operation, because the scammers, them, are not typically doing that. Now, might be slightly different if you're listening to this in the States or the UK. Again, we know that some of these scammers are willing to go to the next level because they know this is how you establish trust. But in the Caribbean, we're not there yet. The majority of these scammers are not doing, they're not getting out into the community like that. I mean, we did have one, We did have one in Trinidad. And again, he did that because he knew how to build trust. We had one scammer in Trinidad and Tobago who was going around and doing all the corporate, all the social experiments and putting it online because he knew how to build trust, right? But again, we're not talking about them. We're talking about you and your business. And if you want to build trust with your audience, right, and you're doing it with a good heart, then getting out into the community and engaging is a great way to build trust. Now, those are my 10 ways to establish trust and move that needle. Let me just recap. Number 1, transparent communication. 2, creating high-quality content. 3, consistent branding. 4, having a website. 5, getting customer reviews and testimonials. 6, engaging with your community on social media. 7, showcasing the behind-the-scenes content. 8, putting in security measures like your SSL certificates, right? Encrypting your websites. Number 9, media features and publicity. Number 10, community involvement, and corporate social responsibility. When you start to implement those 10 things, you start to establish trust with your audience. When they start to conduct research on your business, because we all research the businesses that we want to buy from and do business with, when we can see that, oh, this person is, they're in the media, they're out in the community, they have their refund policies and exchange policies promptly implemented on their social media platforms and online. When they start to implement all of these things, they're engaging with people on social media. They don't delete negative comments. They respond to them and they address people's problems. And we're seeing people's follow-up reviews that the problems were solved. When all of these things are done and you establish that trust as a business owner, when your business starts to evolve and do things differently that customers may not have done before, they trust that you're not going to lead them astray. And they are more willing to learn how to do business with you. And let me repeat that. A customer is more willing to learn how to do business. Oh my God. A customer is more willing to learn how to do business with you when they trust you. If they don't trust you, that's when all of the pushback happens. Again, I say, I have not accepted a cash payment since 2017. I accept cash utilizing Paywise, bank deposits, online bank transfers. So even if people did not have a bank account, they could still pay me with cash via my Paywise options or via the bank deposits. But again, those things would not have happened if I was not actively building trust with the audience, with my audience. So when I said, this is how I do business, they trusted me that I would deliver on my end. And they were willing to learn how to use the mechanisms that I put in place. So if you are trying to make changes in your business and your audience is pushing back because they don't trust you, or if your business is met with skepticism, it is because you have not done enough to build trust with your audience. I'll repeat that. If your business and conducting business with you is met with skepticism from first-time buyers and potential buyers, it is because you have not done enough to build trust. Because just like I said in the beginning, people have no issues going on non-branded Chinese websites and buying. They have no problem going on Temu and Wish and Amazon and Walmart. And that's because these platforms give off the fact that they can be trusted. And I kind of paused there because I'm like, but man, people still buy from these random ass Chinese websites. But again, they clearly have done enough to build trust in that person's mind that even though you've never heard of us, we're going to deliver to you. They've clearly done enough that people are still putting in their credit card information on those Chinese websites and still making a purchase. And we complain locally in Trinidad that people do not want or don't like to buy locally from businesses online because they don't trust them. Well, it's a simple fix. Build trust. And I'm saying simple. It's not easy, but it's a simple process, right? I gave you 10 ways to go about building trust. It's relatively simple, but it's obviously going to take time and work and effort and consistency to do those simple things over time to build trust. All right? Is your business willing to do that? Is the next question. And a lot of businesses, and this is something that's popping up a lot too. A lot of businesses in Trinidad don't see themselves as a business. This is a side hustle. They have their full-time job, and what they are doing is a side hustle. So they're not willing to do the necessary things to build trust because to them this is just a hustle, man. I'm trying to make a quick buck. And nothing wrong with that too, you know. But you're going to be met with skepticism. All right? So If you want to move the needle on building trust, if you want to evolve your business and you want to evolve your policies, your infrastructure, and how people do business with you, that is going to require you to build trust with your audience. So I hope you guys enjoyed my 10 ways on how to build trust with your audience. All right. If you guys liked today's episode, feel free to drop a rating, whether it be on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You guys know they help tremendously. And if you really enjoyed today's content, please drop a review. The reviews continue to help grow the Digipreneur family all across the world. Okay. And again, I like to hear your feedback. It always gives me ideas as to what to come with next. And people that are looking for a new podcast to help them, they look at the review. They look at the reviews first. So again, help me out. People want to feel like, hey, I'm going to subscribe to this guy. You know, what are people saying about this podcast? You know, and your reviews help to build that trust. That way, they hit the subscribe and they come and listen to the podcast. You see how that works? Help me build trust with potential audience members. Don't forget to check out the KarenRose.com website to learn more about building your digital presence and monetizing your platforms. Check out the Digipreneur FM website to stay up to date with everything happening on the podcast. Don't forget you can follow me on every single social media platform of your choice at KeronRose on any social media platform. I am most active on LinkedIn and IG stories, so, you know, go check me out over there. And yeah, it is Tuesday. Stay dry if you're in Trinidad. We have a lot of rain to come. So, and I know some of the other islands are getting it as well, but stay dry. And hopefully, if you have the opportunity to stay home and Netflix and just chill out today, I wish that for you. I love that for you. All right, man. You'll see me in another episode this week. Take care, everybody.
You've been listening to the Digiboss, Karan Rose. We hope your notepad was filled after this episode. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. The learning doesn't stop, folks. And to make sure you don't miss any gems from the Digiboss, go over and follow him on all social media platforms at Karan Rose. Folks, don't just sit there with a notepad. We need you to implement at least one thing into your business before the next episode. That's the only way your business levels up. Thanks for listening to Digipreneur FM. Now go be great.